All right, so here we are today in the Jardin des Tuileries in beautiful Paris, where Parisians are aggressively relaxing in a way that only Parisians know how to do. And of course, this is
The Handbag Husband.
the Handbag Husband. Yay! So today, it's kind of the last days that we're here in Paris, and I wanted to take a little bit of a chance to talk about how Quota Bags and the lottery system and Hermes all kind of work together, kind of what
Or doesn't work.
or don't work together.
They don't work together, yeah.
A little bit of advice to give to folks who are kind of wondering about what they should do or whether it's worth it or not, what we did while we were here, and how it ended up ultimately working out for us. Now, of course, before we get to that, if you like these videos, if you like the bag candy, and boy, do we have tons and tons of bag candy for you. But also, if you like the conversation, if you like the general milieu of the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
But also because you get notified when our newest videos come out. All right, so let's talk about the first way that someone could get a leather appointment here in Paris. And it's really gonna be at any of the boutiques that are here. It's gonna be through the lotto system. And you know, there's some frustration with it, obviously. It seems, assuming there's no shenanigans going on, that the lotto is probably the fairest way to do leather appointments. It is primarily going to be for those folks who don't have a purchase history, who don't have a spend history, who don't have an SA already here in Paris. It's really going to be the only way to kind of knock on the door of what we have been calling Fortress Hermes, right? Because the leather department is a fortress, and they have it locked down. Previously, if you bought like lots of stuff, if you bought other things, they could potentially help you get a leather appointment, like if you bought a sofa or you bought something crazy expensive. But it seems like they are really changing that way around to really only give people who don't have any other previous history or don't have an SA a way in through the lottery. Now, the lottery, like it sounds, is something that you win, and more often than not, you lose. Because you can only put your information in once per day. Obviously, you can only schedule for 6 days out of the week because they're not open on Sunday. And it's really hit or miss, right? You have no idea who's getting it.
It's a miss.
It's really mostly missed, yeah. But by getting the lottery, if you get a leather appointment, it does entitle you to a leather appointment, but it doesn't necessarily entitle you to a quota bag. Right? So just because you show up and you have an appointment for the leather doesn't necessarily mean they're going to offer you a Quimby or any of the quota bags, because it doesn't mean they have them on hand. Yes, you can have a leather appointment, but it doesn't mean you have it on hand. Another interesting side fact to that is that for men's leather goods and FSH at Faubourg, you do need to have the leather appointment. They're not going to let you look at any men's leather bags if you have that. But at Sèvres and maybe at George Sunk, I don't know, we didn't get to go. They don't count men's bags as a leather appointment necessary, or they don't say you need to have a leather appointment necessary for men's bags. So that's just kind of a pro tip. But again, most folks are probably looking for the quota bag, non-quota bag, Quimbys, non-Quimbys, those kinds of things. So that is the first way to get in through the Fortress Hermes, which is through the lotto system. And I know, as much as I dislike it because we always lose, I also like it because at least it feels fair. All right, so the next one up, and it almost equally as unlikely as winning the Hermes lottery, is something that you could do, and you see tons of people doing, and this is an immense fountain of drama that comes out of this, is that you can try to schmooze the podium person. So, like I said, Fortress Hermes has their leather department on lockdown. So all avenues through it really are through the main leather appointment person, the maître d' or whatever we want to call them. And so when you're especially at an FSH, you see lots of people trying all kinds of crazy approaches to try to schmooze them. Be like, oh, I've been here before, I have a purchase history, I know John, do you know Jean-Jacques? I know Jean-Jacques, right? I can't say that any of those are great ways to do it, but people always seem to do it. And one of the other ways is that you can actually show up, and if you are nice to them, and if there are opportunities, and for whatever reason, if the Hermes gods shine down upon you, if someone doesn't make their appointment, then those appointments do open up for people who are just kind of coming in and asking. So just as a pro tip, just keep in mind, if you are, I know we logically think, oh, I want to be the first person in line, and that means that any openings that are available will go to me. And yes, that would be true in a world where the appointments are not full, but we don't live in that world. All appointments are always full. They are always full. So the pro tip is more to come in the middle of the day or the afternoon, which the maitre will tell us to do, to come back and just check in and be like, hey, I was here earlier. Obviously there was no availability appointments. Has anything changed, right? And I think that the best approach to that is just kind of a take it or leave it. You can't be like, oh, but you said I was going to get it, or I thought I was going to get it. You know, the dramatics, the hysterics, I don't think they have heard it all, right?
Every day.
Yeah,
they're like
the emergency room nurses of Hermes, where they hear all the craziest stories you've ever heard, and they know what they can do and what they can't do. So I think that if you go back at midday, talk and say, hey, has anything opened up? There's a possibility that maybe you could if there's an opening. But we tried that, and obviously that didn't work out for us as well. But I have seen people in the past try it. I saw people doing it in addition to us. So it's another way that you could potentially get it. But of course, you got to have the right people skills to be able to do that, and also have the humility to walk away when your turn. The roll of dice doesn't go your way.
That's why we send the handbag husband in.
That's right, because I could take the abuse, the rejection. All right, so the third way, and really it depends on, I guess, how you look on it, the least efficient and the most expensive.
And risky.
And the riskiest, right? You really are gambling with a lot of dollars here. Like, this is bigger than what you would spend, most people spend in Vegas, is you can attempt to buy your way up the ladder into Hermes. And I will tell you, previously, there are people who say that they have bought all kinds of crazy stuff at Hermes. They got a sofa for like $120,000. The valet, which I have been drooling over for men's clothes, is like $60,000 to $80,000. Previously, you could spend the money on big ticket items, jewelry, furniture, homewares, and things like that, and you could buy yourself into another class. And those people, those associates, the sales associates who are helping you with your furniture purchase or your bespoke suits, those people could introduce you to a leather appointment and could help you with a leather appointment. But in the modern rules, and they were saying that at FSH, that a lot of that has changed in 2023. They have locked down really all responsibility for leather appointments within the leather department. So they're not having people coming from the other sides, bringing their top clients in and making leather appointments that way.
They're gonna do it.
Of course, somebody is doing it, right? Someone high enough has enough juice to make that happen.
Sure.
But for most of the people that we interact with, that you walk in and you're going to see, and they don't have the big, elaborate name tag or anything like that, or the blue scarf, right? The non, juiced in people, they've basically been completely shut out of the process. Even like some of the floor managers in hire, right? They've been shut out of that process. At least that's what they're saying. So if you think you're going to buy your way into it, it's definitely possible, right? No, I'm not going to say, the money is no option.
But to me, it's not worth the risk.
But is it worth the risk? That's up to you. How much your time and your money, you got to balance that out, right? And how much furniture do you really need in your house, right? So that is the other way, and I think that's probably the least good options. I think it's, for us, even us personally, it's better to take the loss than to take the loss and also spend $100,000 on something ridiculous that we love and we enjoy, but we didn't go in there initially to spend on.
Yeah.
So last up, I want to talk a little bit about, is it even worth it to come to Paris and try to get a Quota bag? Because again, mentally when you think about, oh, Hermes is from Paris. If I go to Paris, then I get a Quota bag, right? That's where all the Quota bags spawn. That's where they come out, right? You go up to the factory and you pick it up. And I think that the reality is that maybe in the past it was like that, maybe pre-pandemic and stuff like that. But in the world right now where it's so competitive, where there's so much demand, and where the number of bags they're producing really aren't growing at the same rate, coming to Paris is going to have its advantages and disadvantages. And I think that, one, you should come to Paris if you want to see extraordinarily interesting, rare, exotic, disoriented Quota bags, right? If you want to see a Kelly Desiree, if you want to see a Dove, if you want to see a Kelly 50 or a Birkin in alligator with diamonds, right? You're going to find that here. They're going to have all those rarities here. But realize, unless you can really put the time and the effort and the money into what it's going to take to be classified as someone that they want to do business with here. Look, it is the consumer Olympics. You have people from all of the top people socioeconomically from around the world coming to Paris because they're like, oh, that's where they make the bags. And obviously you need to know, are you competitive? Like, it's a different tier system than maybe back home. If you're in Beverly Hills or if you're in, Australia, it's a whole different tier system. You're dealing with people who are to put it Frenchly, beaucoup bucks, right? They got beaucoup bucks. So I think that you should come, and I think that you should come, obviously
And
play the lot.
Lots of food, drink lots of wine, enjoy the Paris, and then if you win the lottery, you win the lottery.
That's right. Because play the lottery and just take it or leave it, right? If you win the lottery, great. Go drink some champagne, eat some macarons, some andouillettes, and have a great time. If you don't win the lottery,
Still
the same. Yeah, the same. There's no difference, right? But just don't put all your hopes and all your dreams and really the whole trip that you planned out and spent time and money and energy planning on hinging on whether you're going to get the bag or not, because the likelihood is you're not going to get it, right? There are times we've been lucky, but there are more often than not that you're not lucky. And again,
the most unlucky is one person going to be the husband that need to take all the emotional
that's right.
baggage. That's with it.
Baggage. That's clever. Yeah. So is it worth it? Yes, of course it is, but also appreciate it for the portion of the quest that you're in, right? It's not necessarily about getting the bag or not getting the bag, but your knowledge, your feeling, your embrace of Hermes will definitely go up. You'll definitely feel more connected.
I guess I do understand that Paris is the only place that you don't need to have pre-spent.
Mm-hmm.
So
but you still got to win the lottery.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why people's like, oh, I need, like, this is the best bet.
I mean, the other side of it is you are pre-spending. You got to get the plane tickets, you got to get the hotel, you got to get the transportation.
Sure.
You're pre-spending. You're just not going to Hermes.
Yeah.
And also the time and the energy and the vacation time and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is there. But if you can enjoy it, if you can make Hermes a side quest from your normal vacation, then I think that's probably the best way to go. And that's what would make it worth it, because the trip gets better if you get it, and if you don't, then you're still eating delicious food.
Or find a backup plan.
So that is it for our lottery system, Quota Bag, like how to get a bag here in Paris from Hermes at the boutique.
And is it worth it?
And is it worth it? And again, I think it is.
For me, for you it is?
I think it is. If it is
not
your primary goal. Yeah.
Sure.
But either way, that's it for that. I'd love to see your comments and feedback on it and kind of your input on it, because this is us right now in situ, like we're living it. But I think maybe hindsight or with other perspectives coming in, it could change a little bit. So I'd love to hear what you all think about that, and whether you would still consider coming to Paris to get a Quota Bag. And of course, if you do like the videos, if you like the conversation, if you like the bag candy, and boy, we got a lot of bag candy, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does help the channel grow, and we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
But also because you get notifications, you get updates when our newest videos come out. So that is it for today from here in Paris, and au revoir. So that's it for today from Jardin de... What is it?
I don't know.